moving it down the path. So as you moved it down the path in terms of really beginning to figure out how you're going to get this built, what you're going to do, in terms of your client and working with them, how much interaction was it that they, you kind of, they left it with you and you came back 6 months later, or was it, every hour they're on the phone saying, what about this, what about this? What was the level of interaction and how did you manage that?
We had a pretty tight ship as far as our production schedule was concerned. So Quinn actually worked in the interactive phase with the wireframes. We went through many, many, many rounds of that, and I'm sure Quinn can speak to that.
I think one of the first things that we did in that idea phase, we did the assessment, we did the analysis of other features out there, the competitive landscape. We had then this laundry list of features, and each one was great. We did some focus group surveys, focus group research, and got a sense of which ones were higher priorities, which ones were lower. And then, of course, from the client perspective, there's always that would be awesome, that's what I want. We actually, Steve and I sat down with a whiteboard for a long time before we even really got into planning. And it wound up in many, many rounds of conversation with client and everything else, and everyone, and the whole team, every stakeholder, really looking at all the features and sort of doing that cost value assessment and going into it with a scalpel and really pulling them out. And I think, Steve, you can speak to even some of the cost assessments we had.
Yeah, we looked at various features, essentially you have to prioritize them is really what we did. And some of them were like really nice to haves, like people wanted to do things with photographs and things like that. And it just, it was a matter of really looking at it logically, what makes sense to include in the product, at least in the initial release.
Right.
With that goal of getting that feedback that you were alluding to earlier, to understand how people are using it, what else they